In partnership with youth-led activist group African Climate Alliance, pupils from various schools across Cape Town marched to Parliament in protest against the government's lack of action on the urgency of climate change. The march comes just 2 days before the UN Climate Summit in New York, and upon receiving the Memorandum of Demands, a City of Cape Town official stated that they are making efforts towards alternative sources of generating energy.
The city is always at the forefront of diversifying the energy mix. You will recall that the city is taking the national government and the NASA to court to be allowed to procure energy from the IPPs, which is the independent power producers, where we believe that we don't need to be heavily reliant on fossil fuels. The city of Cape Town is a member of the C40, where we've got commitments to say this is what we are going to do in our effort to reduce the carbon emissions. In this country, I think we are the only city that was ranked at level A by the C40 on the issues of programs that are addressing the issues of climate change. We are encouraging the use of alternatives like your solar PVs. We are even planning to have our own plant of solar PVs because we do believe that it is time for all of us to act now if we want to save this universe.
The youth also called on national government intervention, as failure to do so may have serious consequences for future generations.
We would like President Ramaphosa to hear us and please release renewable energy. Yeah. And we will also want to spread awareness that climate change is a crisis and everyone must be part of this crisis that we usually have. No matter how old or young you are.
I'd like to say that everyone should act now because it's all of our problem. It's not just me or Yola's problem. It's all of our problems. We must act now for the benefit of our future.
Youth activists also voiced their concerns and criticisms on the national government's lack of commitment to transition the country towards sustainable energy and called on the implementation of a carbon tax to fossil fuel producing companies.
Well, I'm sure you know in the State of a Nation address recently, our president did he did touch on the climate emergency, but I feel his response in regards to what we can do and how we can change was lacking. It was a very small part of his speech, and I think we need to raise more awareness because with awareness comes action. So the more awareness we raise, the more action we can create. And it's things like making the coal companies pay taxes because currently they don't. They have a monopoly over our country's economy because we rely on them for power. So we must tax them and we must find new sources of energy so we don't rely on things that are polluting our environment and destroying our planet. On top of that, shops are still supplying plastic bag after plastic bag after plastic bag. You can buy a fruit which is in plastic, and there's no need for that. All this extra packaging, we can change the paper, we can have things loose. It's small things like that which we can add up and we can make such a huge difference just by reducing the litter and pollution and destruction that we're causing our planet.
We are here in order to lobby the government, put pressure on the government to create laws and legislation to force them basically to take action in the climate crisis. Look, as a country we don't even have mandatory education on this climate crisis. That can just show you how far back we are. We are off target for the Paris Accord agreements. Our president hasn't even gone to the emergency climate summit in New York. This just shows that we are not taking this seriously. This is a crisis. We need a place in the future to live as the youth, and we are not going to get it if South Africa continues to act the way it's been acting.
For our City News, I am Bulelani Kyomfana, Parliament.